Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. In our previous video, we have covered some of the predefined functional interfaces, that is predicate function and consumer. For all of these, we understood the syntax, application and usage. We saw what are the default and static methods that comes up with these interfaces. Then we got familiar with the concept of predicate chaining, function chaining and consumer chaining. We looked at some examples to get a better understanding and hands-on experience on working with predicate function and consumers. In case you have missed it, you can check for the link of all these previous videos in our description box, or you can go through the Java 8 playlist from Multifarious channel. Link for the same is mentioned on the top of your screen. Coming back to this video, in this video, we will cover another predefined functional interface, that is supplier. We will see its syntax and how and where we can use the supplier functional interface. We'll look at what are the default and static method that comes up with this functional interface. And at last, we'll see the difference and where we can use predicate, function, consumer, and supplier. So before wasting any time, let's get started. So, what is a supplier? A supplier is a type of functional interface. The supplier interface is a part of java.util.function package which has been introduced since Java 8 to implement the support for functional programming in Java. It represents a function which does not take any argument but produces a value of type T. Java's functional supplier interface can be used at any time a function needs to generate a value without taking any input data. Now you can see this is a kind of contrast to the consumer functional interface because the consumer functional interface does the opposite. It takes the argument but gives no result, while supplier takes no argument but it produces the sum value. So Java's consumer and supplier functional interfaces are kind of complement to one another. If function needs to pass both data and return a data in response, then you should always go for the function because it combines the capabilities of both the consumer and the supplier interface. Before we jump into Java supplier interface example, it is a good idea that we should refer Java doc in order to see how exactly the supplier API is designed in Java. So let's understand the syntax of supplier. So a supplier in Java is defined like this. It is annotated with @functional interface annotation. It contains only one abstract method, that is get. And notice that get method does not take any input parameter. So you can remember the name of the method like supplier is used for supplying some values without taking any input from the user. The method signature of the supplier are t get. So here T is the type of output that is returned by the supplier. So Java 8 supplier is a functional interface whose functional method is get. The supplier interface represents an operation that takes no argument and returns a result. As this is a functional interface and we can therefore use it as the assignment target for a lambda expression. Now let's see some of the example to get a better understanding and the usage of supplier. So let's take an example. Let us assume that I want to write a supplier that will give me the object of date class. So a supplier is defined like this. So let us first try to implement this without any lambda expression. So in Java 7, what we will do is we'll create a class that will implement the supplier interface and provide an implementation for the abstract method get. So our code will look something like this. Public class date supplier implements a supplier of type date. Now this class will override the get method and in the get method we'll return the object of date class. So next task would be to invoke this method. For this I'll write another class that will have a main method inside it. And in that main method I will create an object of date supplier class and will just call the method get to get the object of date. So let me do that. We'll create a demo class here and in the demo class I will be writing the main method. In this main method you can see that we have created the object of date supplier and with this object we are calling the get method date supplier dot get. Now let's convert the same code to the lambda expression. So what we'll do is, let's first convert this method get into a lambda expression. So a lambda expression for get method will look something like this. Supplier of date supplier equals to parenthesis which returns a new date. So now I can directly use this in my main method. So my main method will look something like this. So I've just replaced the instantiation of date supplier class by the lambda expression. So let's see this code into the actions. So in this example, you can see we have a class date supplier that implements the supplier interface of type date, and we have overridden the get method here, and in this get method we are returning the new object of date. Then we have a demo class which has a main method inside it, and we have created the object of date supplier, and we are just calling the get method here. So let us compile this code and let us see the output. So let me just compile it. Java date supplier.java, Java C demo.java, and Java demo. So here the date is printed here. So we'll try to achieve the same using the lambda expression. So for that we'll import java.util.function.supplier, and then we'll import java.util.date as we are using date here. So this can be returned as supplier of date supplier equals to parenthesis new date. So let us just save this code and see into the actions. Java C demo.java and Java demo. So here you can see we are getting the same output. So I hope now you have a basic understanding of supplier functional interface. In our upcoming videos, we'll see some more examples of supplier functional interface. So I hope you like this video. So do like, share and subscribe. If you have any doubts, you can tell us in the comment section. Stay tuned for yet another videos on Java 8. Till then, take care, bye bye, and thank you for watching.